I need better Warhammer games, bro. It's kind of insane, Jake. The more I get into it, the more books I read, the more it's like, man, why does every game just got to be about Space Marines?
So
Can it be about orcs? Orcs. Come on, they're the best thing about that
Give me a
franchise, man.
Orc Dark Souls game. Because every time you beat a boss, every time a Orc wins a fight, they get bigger and
Yep.
stronger. That's destined for Dark Souls.
Exactly, I swear, audience, orcs are my favorite race of all time from that franchise. Like when everybody's coming in, with their special attacks being like, an orbital strike or summoning a black hole or shooting lightning, this and that. Orcs, they just throw a giant rock. Yeah. No, don't underestimate a giant rock, audience, is what I'm trying to say, So, I mean, their vehicles, audience, the way they start is with like the ignition, the turbo, and the
That's
boosters
it.
all being ignited in one button.
No one else knows how it works. It's just a button that says go.
Yeah, yeah.
I want the Skaven. The Skaven are Warhammer Fantasy, but they're basically like rats, but they're like stuck in like World War I era weapons and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see how that got translated to Warhammer, but Warhammer 40K. But right now they're just stuck in the fantasy token type world.
All right.
I just wanted to pick something light so we can just move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had to correct myself. Carl, you can unmute yourself. I'm sorry. You can unmute
Carl,
yourself.
unmute yourself.
You can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Hi.
Okay, now I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So I had to correct myself. In the Doctor Who review, I said Donna's last name was Paulson. That is because there is another redhead secretary white lady from a show I also like named Suits, and her name is Donna Paulson. In Doctor Who, her name is Donna.
That's very racist.
It's Donna Noble in Doctor Who, so that was my correction. Okay. So I called her Donna Paulson twice. Oh my god, that was embarrassing.
Wow.
Yeah.
How dare the fan of a doctor make a mistake?
I'm sure.
How dare a man who watched a whole season of the show make a mistake? That's more the problem.
Sure.
Yep.
I don't know why I thought I guess it's just easier to remember. I guess Donna Noble is just such a boring name, right?
Gotcha. So,
all right, let's start.
All right then. Okay, well, let me get it started. Welcome to Comic Panic Live, the news and reviews of the week, audience. You're here with me, Cryptid Zeker 415. Yeah, I predicted it, audience. I predicted it. We lived long enough to see the 10th Captain America. So, move on. Yeah. Yep.
Will David Tennant play him? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, me, Jake Tylenol. I can. I'm trying. I'm trying with Matt Smith, bro. I'm really trying, bro. We'll see. Okay.
Austin, will Jake not make a Doctor Who reference every 5 minutes? Please, God.
I'll make it every 2 minutes. That'll be easier.
Yay.
All right, Carl, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Kara, alias Rydra, and I may or may not dip after the Captain America segment. We'll see, right?
Right.
But together we form the Phanatics with a guest, and we talk about the news and reviews of the week. And on our special Tuesday nights, it is all comic reviews, baby. We got Captain America. We're coming back to our monthly dose of Ultimate Spider-Man. Late to the party, but never forgotten, is IDW Sonic. And we also are doing Wolverine and Deadpool crossover.
Wolverine and Deadpool. Yeah.
Multiple.
It's a war.
Look, pay attention to the subtext.
Well,
Winning Council literally Wolverine and Deadpool for no reason.
If you want to follow us, you can follow us at Comic Fanatic 69. That's our comic Twitter, run by Witch, who is not here this week. All right,
Yeah, so guess what? We're not saying your intro. We're not doing your things. You're not getting subs today. It's over. Should have been here.
What's crazy is I just have it written down here, so I could have done it.
Too bad. Stall his. Go to Captain America.
All right, and with that said, Captain America, it's Captain.
All right, let's bring it up, audience. So yeah, audience,
That's a good
we're
photo.
talking about. Huh? I already brought up the photo. So
That
we're
is a
talking.
good photo.
Oh yeah, that is good. Yep. Captain America issue number 1, otherwise known as Legacy number 772. We gotta start bringing that up more and more. The legacy numberings, you know. So
Yeah.
They only do it when they get close to a milestone.
yeah. But this is gonna be part 1 of the Our Secret Wars story arc. I was very excited about this, audience, because Chip Zdarsky was my number 1 choice to be placed on a Captain America book for the
He
longest
begged
of
for
time.
this.
Yes, audience, like shake it up, Marvel. Stop putting people who don't like what Captain America stands for
Right,
on a
right.
Captain America book. See, Karen understands, you know.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. The way this issue starts off, I don't think anybody saw this coming because we already saw through some promotional artwork of like who's going to be in this book, right? A new adaptation of the Howling Commandos. It was really just 2 individuals who look like they belong in GI Joe, really, you know. But we open up really to 9/11 at the site of the Twin Towers falling, and we're introduced to let me bring the kid up. David Colton. I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting that at all.
No
Pretty
trigger warning or anything, people.
yeah, you know. So that's going to be like the B plot for this issue, but the main story at hand really is like, Captain America, he recently just got out of ice. This is a past telling, and let's just acknowledge it. They kind of, quote unquote, retconned, well, more of like modernized Captain America coming out into a more present time, you know?
It's them trying to do the time slide, like always.
I hate the
Too
sliding
much time has
timeline.
passed. Too much time has passed. We got to update his origin, or it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, you know.
I pray Marvel
That's just-
Comics to 2099. I don't see it happen. I just
I mean, it's just the stuff you have to deal with when, like, if you're still going through one existing continuity, you know. I mean, DC, they have like the fallout of like, going through a new rebirth or whatever, a new reboot, a crisis, exactly, Here in Marvel, they just have to try following one continuous timeline, and
we had 2 moments where they could have did it, and they both went back on it both times. Remember, Heroes Reborn with our first reboot, and then during Secret Wars 15, Reed was supposed to reboot the world, and he didn't. He decided not to.
Yeah, I think everybody was. I think all the fans were kind of fearful of Secret Wars 2 because they all assumed that if there was going to be a reboot after that, it was going to be all the characters resembling the MCU counterparts.
Instead, all you got was Miles and the 616.
Pretty much, So, alrighty then. Captain America is in the midst of like stopping like bombing that's going to happen in the UN. And now keep this in mind, audience, like this is Captain America just being aware of, the UN itself, because it didn't exist during this time. As far as he's aware, like, 2 weeks ago, he was just fighting Hitler, this and that,
And that right next to US.
And yeah, he does like the at least attempt of like, this formed after World War II to prevent another world war, Yeah, there are some debates and some topical discussions going on in the UN, but still they're at least trying to prevent a crisis like World War II from ever happening again, So, and I do like the heart-to-heart moment Cap had here with the bomber, because the bomber himself was a former veteran too.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
We're
what?
talking- Yeah, he was a former veteran who just fell in hard
The guy who
times.
bombed the 9/11?
Oh no! We're talking
Oh,
about
not
the
9/11. No, the guy who was going to bomb the UN.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You need better photos, bro. I'm still stuck on this one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have another photo to follow up. That guy. I have other photos, but they're going to be for different points
All
in the
right.
comic. So, okay. Anyway, so Captain America does get through to him, but then Tony Stark, Iron Man comes in, uses his techno know-how, and diffuses the bomb. Right now, remember, audience, again, they're still trying to keep the continuity intact, even though they updated the timeline here, because at this point, nobody knows Iron Man is Tony Stark, and
Oh,
he
yeah,
is
it's still the bodyguard. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And his design is reminiscent of like the design Iron Man had back in the '60s. So they want to at
The
least
worst
keep some
design.
things in that. Hey, like it's a stage.
No. His suit is fine. I just don't like that
Mhm.
he doesn't have anything cover his eyes when he flies and goes underwater.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Like his eye sockets are just out in his first suit.
you want to keep some of his humanity intact, I guess. To see that there's a
Bro, just
man.
put the
within
glass.
Iron
It's all just something.
Man.
It's all ass.
Well,
You know
maybe
what?
something comes down when it needs to.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
I pray for him.
Yeah, gotcha. But anyway, they have the talk. They're going, Iron Man's trying to convince Captain America to join the Avengers, but Steve he's okay with just going back to the army at this point, because remember, audience, at this point he lost everything. All the friends he knew, the faces he grew up with, they're all gone. It's really just him, the Shield, and the military that he has left.
And Wolverine.
Huh?
and Wolverine. Not that he know that, but
Honestly, one thing that would have made this issue a little better, I'll say this, is if they bring in Nick Fury.
Oh, yeah,
Senior,
they need to do that.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. I mean, I do recall
Yeah.
the first meeting Nick Fury had with Steve Rogers since coming back in the ice was actually in the church, actually. So
oh yeah,
go read.
that was pretty
Go
cool.
read. Yeah, go read that comic, audience. But anyway, so we go to back to the flashback of David Colton, who's he pretty much is the modern day Steve Rogers, right? He has a sickly body, but he's trying to enlist in the military, even though he's getting constantly rejected. You have this one recruiting officer who is starting to take notice of this kid, right? And his dedication to wanting to serve. Let me read this one line, right? I understand, sir, but this is all I think about anymore. That the world has gone mad, and good men, sane men, are the only cure. So, yep. And then we cut back to Steve getting a physical exam from the military, and having a talk with Thunderbolt Ross, and Ross is informing him about what's going on in Latveria.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I thought the
Yeah.
first thing of in Thunderbolts were like, look, you gotta go get the Hulk, please.
Yeah.
It's like peak 50s. It's all he cares about the Hulk at this point.
Oh yeah, that would have been something. But yeah, Ross is updating Steve, saying that right now there's a new rise in a dictator in Doctor Doom, who's just about to take control of his own of the country.
Wait,
of
what the
Latveria,
fuck?
right?
Wait. If that's the time slide, that means
Yeah.
Cap up during the first year of Fantastic Four.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah,
we do see the Fantastic Four here, Austin.
Yeah, I was say, was it Doom in the first 10 issues?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hate the sliding timeline. I can't say it enough. We would be here all night if I got started. So.
Gotcha. But all right, and afterwards we do see more flashbacks of David Colton. He's finally got accepted into the military. He's in boot camp training. He's having a talk with his mom, who's like worried about his safety at this point, like, because apparently she already lost a son during this war already, but David still feels like he has to step in. His older brother Brian was a hero to him. Kind of reminds me of a certain other Captain America.
Yeah,
yeah,
I was just thinking that.
Hey, Captain America who idolized his older brother who was a soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a gold star audience if you can name who we're talking about. So,
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, David's really being put through the ringer throughout this training course. I mean, of course, all the other recruits have to be a bully to him, and even the drill sergeant, like, he's just beating him up. I'm like, what the heck?
It got ridiculous. I'll talk about that a little later, but yeah.
Yeah. But we cut back to the present day, right, where Captain America, helps the Fantastic Four take out Mole Man. But the reason why Captain America went to the Fantastic Four is because he wanted to sit down with Reed Richards, right? Like, look, he knows he's being assigned to go after Doctor Doom, but he also wants to understand who is Doctor Doom, on a personal standpoint. And who else in America knows more about Victor Von Doom than Reed Richards,
Doom?
No.
Yeah, well, Doom was at Latveria.
That's okay. Go ask him.
It's actually a pretty good, I won't say, prerequisite? I don't know the right word to say. A precursor to what Cap and Doom's relationship will be later in the universe.
Exactly.
I think it helps explain why Cap understands what to say to Doom, because he never really pisses Doom off. They just always have like a civil conversation every time they come.
It's funny you should bring that up because, I know we always go back to the iconic moment from Jerry Dugan where that discussion between Doctor Doom and Captain America, Doctor Doom knows what it's like to be the symbol of a nation and to bear that weight, just like Steve. It's kind of the same thing over here too with the discussion between Steve and Reed, because from Steve's perspective, he was just fighting a dictator 2 weeks ago, and now he just woke up from the ice and he's worried that he's just here to fight another dictator. He just needs to know, is this guy the next Adolf Hitler? And let me see if I can find that line from Reed Richards. Okay, Reed Richards says, Victor isn't Hitler. He's full of ego and hate, but that hate isn't for groups of people.
Yeah.
It's for himself, for the mother and father he couldn't save. It's about control and punishment for anyone who gets in his way. Like, oh wow.
And
that pretty much explains it.
Yeah, So again, more heartfelt moments come about between the two. Captain America explains that yes, they are going to have to go on a mission to Latveria because apparently during this uprising from Doom, they blew up the American embassy there, and they are holding some American citizens hostage in Latveria in the midst of this uprising. Yeah,
they had an embassy.
Wait, what?
I think Latveria had an embassy. That would be kind of weird, bro.
In America, yeah, what's it called? Yeah, an American.
Remember before Dr. Doom took over, they were still not developed that much,
right?
I don't think they're big enough to have a UN. Embassy of America there.
Well, remember at that time it was that was a story written in the '60s, but again, this is more modernizing it,
Yeah, it's just something.
But yeah, so
no, Witch, I don't care that you said hi. I'm not answering.
What's going on, Witch? But anyway, so we get a talk through, and Captain America tells Reed, yes, he is going to go on a mission with a group to go rescue the hostages that are stuck within Latveria. At first, Reed thought like he was there to recruit the Fantastic Four, and he's more than willing to help Steve out in this. But as Steve stated, right now there's like policies with like countries being a little bit hesitant about, let's say American superhero teams coming into
Yeah.
other foreign affairs. But there is a clause though: super soldiers, because all other countries in the world will not stop in their super soldier developments.
Does Steve get a moment with Human Torch?
No, he doesn't
Damn.
pop up in this. I mean, yeah, I would imagine like if the first interaction Steve would have with Human Torch would be Steve telling him, "Hey, you have some big shoes to fill in,
Yeah.
Johnny. The Human Torch I knew was a hero." Well, oh no, that sounds harsh, but like you know what I mean, audience.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like you have a legacy to live up to. You should honor the legacy, and as much as Johnny Storm jokes, I can imagine him saying, "Oh yes, I'm going to do the legacy prouds," because he can be serious when he needs to be.
Exactly, so that would be a good moment. But also, speaking of good moments, during the talk about between Reed and Steve, Reed ends up bringing up like that Steve, you were a big hero to my father. Like, let me bring up the picture.
Really?
And
That's interesting.
Yeah, this was a big moment for Reed because actually it turns out it was Reed who first titled Steve as the living legend. I'm like, oh wow. Let me see if I can read that line. I had like he showed Steve that the toy action figure he had that was passed down to him from his dad, right? I've had this since I was 8 years old. I'm sorry, Captain America, but you're a living legend. So, oh wow. So, Jake, isn't that the smartest thing Reed has ever said in your eyes? Come on, go on.
No. And that's the smartest thing he's ever said. Then he's not a very smart man. There you go.
Oh damn. Well, he stated a fact, Jake. All right.
Yeah, well, the sky is blue and the ocean is too. That's what I said.
Okay. But anyway, we continue on with the book, and we see David Colton like trying to read a book in the midst of night, and he gets the beating of his life from the drill sergeant. Let me bring up that picture. Like, I'll get more.
Could I just go ahead and talk about this?
Go ahead.
Thank you. This took it too far.
Yeah.
Like I know they're trying to be dramatic and showing, oh, look at all these people who are against him, but this took it too far. It didn't make sense. Like what they said, oh, the Sarge has snapped. It's like, well, that's the only explanation I can think of. That
he sees
that
David as
sergeant
too
would have
weak.
been arrested. If this happened in real life, he should have been arrested. But there's like they don't talk about anything happening to them. You might think you might think, oh well, sometimes in real life, unfortunately, there's no justice, so maybe they're setting it up. Oh, sometimes bullies attack innocent people and don't get what's coming to them, but you still have to stand up and fight. And no, nothing happened. Like they just had a sergeant going crazy and beating up a recruit for no reason, and just nothing happened. And I said, okay, this is just antagonism for antagonism's sake. So that was the main issue. Like I said, if you want to show like, oh, he was attacked and he didn't even get his justice, that would be one thing. But no, like nothing happened. Like, well, wait, was the sergeant punished for that, or what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I know real life. Like, I remember George S. Patton, right? He got punished for like slapping a soldier, right?
Right.
But this isn't slapping, audience. This is sending this recruit into into the hospital, man. I'm like, okay, this is what are you trying to do here? You know?
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm. All right, so yeah, we get that scene, and then we go back to Captain America. He's talking with about the mission briefing with Thunderbolt Ross. We get introduced to his two teammates. Let's see, one of them is named Chill. Looking at,
Okay.
and the other one, her name is Julia Slate. Again, these do feel like people from the GI Joe world, you know. So Captain America's like saying, okay, so this is going to be a three-man team then, right? And that's when we're introduced to a shadowy figure wielding the shield in the back. As we go back to a flashback to David Colton in the emergency room, he's trying to grab his inhaler after getting beaten up, right? Only for the army recruitment officer to come in and tell him look, it must be tiring being so damn feeble. Your soul, your spirit wanting more, your body saying no, but you didn't stay down. It's not in you. So he basically gives David the chance to cure his asthma, and we know it ends up leading to him being the next Captain America, as the issue ends with seeing a fully grown, fully realized David Colton in the midst of seeing the statue of Saddam Hussein being toppled. So that's how the issue ends. Oh wow. I remember when I was first reading this, audience, I just can't believe it. The next Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean,
well kept secret.
Yeah. Hey, first appearance here, audience, and the whole 9/11 aspect really got to me because man, I didn't know if I want to tell this story or not, but about 3 years ago, right? I was off at a toy store trying to find gifts for my nephews for Christmas, and I ran into this one old lady, right, who was working at the cashier counter. When I was buying my stuff, she looked at my shirt, and yeah, I was wearing a Captain America shirt, right? And she told me, did you know my son is Captain America? I was like, huh, what? Yeah, she told me how about her son who grew up he would always want to be a superhero, right? He would dress up as knights in shining armor or some other superhero during Halloween, this and that. And when 9/11 happened, her son told her that he wanted to stop the bad people from ever doing that ever again, you know? And years later, he ended up joining the Marines. And she showed me a picture of him and all that, this and that, and she even showed me his fiance, who also was in the military too, and she looked like an actual Black Widow. So I was like, wow.
Oh.
And then after a long discussion, I don't want to get too much into detail about it, but afterwards, I shook her hand and just thanked her for all her family has done for this country, and just walked out.
Yeah.
Hey, I was a guy of a Captain America shirt, audience, but then I got to hear the story of a real life Captain America right in front of me, So, yeah, the fact that this Captain America is going to be based on around the 9/11 events, I'm like, wow. Now, after getting that settled down, I've been watching other reviews and other theories, and even certain things that Chip Zdarsky has stated going forward with David Colton. I'm worried at the route they're going to go with David, because I'll understand if there are disagreements between David and Steve, right? Because that's something that's happened between all the other Captain Americas,
even with Sam at times.
Exactly, and even with Bucky too,
Yeah.
But what I will not dig is if there's a full vilification of David Colton.
Yeah.
That's something I'm going to be really worried about, Yeah.
Because they're probably going to have him try to represent what America was post 9/11. It was very paranoid, not trusting of anybody.
Mhm.
A lot of a lot of traits that can be easily turned villainous to a degree.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I could see that, but I could also see like David Colton being the one to punch Osama bin Laden too. So now that would be a good variant cover, but I don't think Marvel would ever do that.
No, not now.
No. Let me bring up pictures of David Colton. This is a full body sketch of him.
All you're showing me that he's going to be black and live action.
We'll see, man. Funny enough, like he has the design I always thought in my head that would best resemble Demolition Man if he ever became Captain America.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
it's just the red hair, It's the red hair and the beard, really, and the mustache. And they did emphasize that he is taller than Steve Rogers. So let me see. We've got a few comments to do. Amazing stop motion. LOL. Hey, what's going on? What did you think of Captain America's issue number 1 so far? And let's see.
The rest of them just witch.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's like, let me also bring up this other picture I found cool. Dude,
Yeah.
When I go in my comic shop, I'm getting this cover right here. Hopefully, if it's still in stands,
The thing is, I started him in the past. It's kind of iffy because one of those things is why no one brought him up for years. Like in continuity.
Yeah.
And
the
then
continuity
you have
implant.
Yeah.
And then you have the moments like Captain America had this thing where people don't ever come back a lot of times. Like the natural Captain America has so many side people.
Oh yeah.
And it just never show back up post the book they were introducing.
Yeah, that was also one thing that it took me a few days to really settle this down because that's an ongoing thing, as Austin points out. Writers would tend to write a new Captain America character for the legacy, right? But after that writer is gone, so is pretty much the character, like.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way, audience. Joaquin is only relevant in comics today because of his MCU push. That's it. But with David Colton's case, because it's set in the past, and in order to kind of tie him in with the actual timeline, you would have to write an explanation for how he's going to be put away for a while. I can only imagine he's going to be put on ice.
Yeah.
Because remember, Steve Rogers, surprisingly, audience to this day, he is the only perfected super soldier in Marvel, right?
Yeah.
So even though David has the serum, you're going to have to write something that's there to not make it the perfect one. So
as long as you're not Nuke, you're okay.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, that's another character you could have used. Like, if you did want to go, like, let's say, the villainized version of Cap out, I mean, you could have just talked about the story between Cap and Nuke. Nuke was a good person who unfortunately just got corrupted in a really bad war and had, like, a major amounts of PTSD, also biological and mechanical augmentations. He got a triple whammy is what I'm trying
Mental
to say.
tampering.
Exactly. Overdose on red wine and blue pills. Yeah. So crossing my fingers for David Colton. And I did listen to some of the interviews that Chip Zdarsky was in. So apparently these past stories are only going to be in the first 6 issues, but the next volume is going to be in the present. So I'll see how that goes,
Well, here are my thoughts about it. I have mixed feelings.
Mm-hmm.
There was some. Well, I should know too. There were some things I was worried about and thought, oh, that's not as bad as I feared it would be. Some good things that I like Colton so far, or at least in the flashbacks. Hopefully they don't make him an a-hole when he's working with Captain America, but he joined not because he was obsessed with revenge or things like that, like a lot of these characters were. He said
he emphasized that in this comic audience,
yes, they did. He said, I want to protect people, I want to stand up to bullies, and you saw his grit and determination, like, I'm not going to back down no matter what. And also the part with that you showed with Reed and the action figure was so wholesome. Steve's like, oh, they made a doll of me. Do they make one of Bucky too? Reed, they're called action figures, and yes, they certainly did. So, Cap was so happy. Then things I didn't like, I've mentioned already, the sliding timeline and the antagonism for antagonism's sake. And then a lot that I question wasn't in the comic. It's stuff I'm hearing from other people.
Theories of where this is going to go.
Exactly. Like, there are people saying, like, please don't turn evil. Please don't turn evil. And I swear this issue and character have given me, or rather the reviews and the feedback, that has made me ask, am I missing something more times than I can recall recently? Because there are people, like you said, they established, he's not about revenge, like he's not signing up to go to the Middle East and start killing people or anything like that. But there are people making weird comments like, I can see him beating up immigrants. Like, am I missing something? Like, why would you think that?
I think it's just that
we also have the image and the name to reflect their dislike or like of America, depending on you like their side. It's like the X-Men.
Yeah.
Where X-Men writers love to, we have a problem with America, we'll bring in Captain America to take all the heat for it.
You're right. You're right.
And people on Twitter I see do that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we also have to remember, like, for the past years, right? I would go as far as to say for the past decade, Captain America fans have been trained to specifically think of the worst outcome when it comes to what a writer has planned.
Yes, I am worried. Like, after they turned Steve into a Hydra agent, it's like, okay, well, what else? I'm not going to trust any of you anymore. Like, if you'll do that, who knows what else you'll do. So I'm already tired of some of the talk about this character, but its reaction has been so mixed. There's a lot of hype, but like you say, some of us have seen the character so mistreated over the past decade or so that it's like, what's going to happen now? So that's sad when you should be hyped, but you wonder, is this going to be good or bad?
Yeah. I mean, heck, I was hyped after reading this first issue, because I can only think of the best, but then I have to get like some reality thrown at me and thinking, okay, the whole villainization of David Colton is a card that's on the table, like, so.
Like, hope for what's that expression?
Hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
I mean, regardless, because of this introduction of this character, I do have to add him to the Captain America list, so.
Yeah, and Chip, in the interview he gave, said, he seems to understand about Captain America. He said Captain America represents the good in people, and I thought this guy gets it.
Mm-hmm.
I may not
Okay.
agree with everything, but he,
Mhm.
at the heart, he gets it. It sounds like.
I don't think
There you
Chip's
go.
going to do you dirty. At worst, it might be a bad story because of plot lines. I don't think he's going to do the character dirty, though.
Mhm.
I wondered if editorial will do anything
Yeah, that's
stupid.
more the question.
Yeah. I mean, the only saving grace people's worry about this book is Chip Zdarsky really audience, because like based on how Chip has handled Captain America in the past in his other books, I would point out Spider-Man Life Story and Avengers Twilight. Chip does want to do justice to Captain America. You know, he understands
Yeah.
the character. He treats him with respect and honor, which is something a lot of other writers need to be doing. You know,
Yeah.
and so I'm just hoping. Yeah, I feel like in that one scene in One Piece, right, where Usopp is like, where the Straw Hats are going through that Sea King, and Usopp's putting like all his faith into those two giants, right, that they'll
Yeah.
save him, even as Usopp is. Even as the ship is walking inside the mouth of the Sea King, he still has his faith in those giants, you know. So yeah, that's where I'm at, audience.
Like
you know?
we've been hurt before.
Because really, if Chip Zdarsky doesn't do a good Captain America story, audience, then really no one can at this point, you know.
Yeah, we're going to have to put him back on ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
Tsunade and Naruto. I'm betting on you.
yes, exactly. You know, like
You use the worst.
but yeah.
That's a quote. That's really bad. She never won a bet that whole show. That was the whole thing.
She won bets before, but the problem is when she wins
bet on Naruto. That's the other bet she did. She was known as the worst gambler. That's the whole point when they introduced
The
her.
legendary sucker.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, all right then. Issue as it is, it was good for me at least. So yeah, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So
Yeah.
that's really it for this first issue of Captain America, audience. Now I know we have other books to talk about, so I guess we should move on. Carl, if you want, you can stick around if you want, but if you have to go, you can. We understand, you know.
Okay,
So.
I'll let you know when I dip. I'm going to be here eating some chocolate. So.
Gotcha. All right. So with that, we can move on to the next book, audience. And what's the next book?
It should be Ultimate Spider-Man, I think.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man number 18. Bro, what picture do we have? Do we just have this one?
Just this one, man.
That's fine. I wasn't prepared to talk about it, but I can talk about it.
Okay.
I forgot it came out, so I forgot we didn't do it because I wasn't here. So.
Yep.
But the issue is interesting because it starts off with everyone still in their little hiding area. Harry comes out. Harry shows up, telling them, "I got a plan to fix all this." They're trying to hear him out. MJ is surprisingly still okay with this, but she explained that apparently she already talked to Harry, so that's why she's okay with it.
Oh.
She talked to Ben, Harry, and them before they got there.
You say okay with it? What do you mean? Like okay with what exactly?
She's still okay with the situation going on, like Peter going off to go fight the Sinister Six and stuff.
No.
She's a supportive wife, Jake. Come on.
She's borderline a pushover wife. I'm not
oh wow, dude!
Whatever plan Harry has apparently is good enough to at least put her at ease. The thing that the problem is his son sneaks off with them.
Oh,
which she's aware of, right?
She's not aware that the kid is Spider-Man or sneaking off.
What did you think was Spider-Man for 3 months when her husband was missing?
I think she thought the suit was doing it by itself. Remember, it was imitating Peter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So,
You saw it. Remember that was the whole scary.
No. I'm not saying that to doubt you. I'm just more like this situation just kind of fucked with me. That's all. That's just.
But the kid sneaks off to go see this girl he met for 5 seconds 3 issues ago. That everyone seems to love.
To be young and have your first love, audience. All right.
I don't want to hear it, bro.
We were all young once, Austin. All right. Like,
so we don't have pictures. I'm just gonna kind of glide through it. Peter goes back to his old house. He webs up Doc Ock, and Doc Ock's just living there. I thought that was hilarious. So Peter, Jake, Doc Ock just living at their house because he was upgrading their defenses, and he was just like, "Well, they're not here. I don't have a home." He usually stays in Harry's lab, so he was literally just sleeping in their bed.
I bet I can make this house.
Oh, jeez. Austin, I swear, I thought you were going to also try mentioning, okay, Otto better not be reimagining what's going on with MJ in that bed. No.
He can do that. That's fine. As long as he's not in Peter's brain, I don't care.
Okay.
Listen, in his brain, that's his business, all right?
Yeah. let him a little long as not on camera. He's all good.
Hey.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm still wondering when we'll get to the point where Otto gets like 200 pounds. You know.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm also tired, so I'm just putting this together. So Peter knows his son is Spider-Man. Also.
Yeah.
So and he hasn't told his wife.
I don't know. It doesn't see if he has. She has not brought it up. If that makes sense.
Okay. I hope he told her. But whatever.
He probably told her, but to be fair, I don't think he expected. You know, he obviously didn't expect his son to do what he's about to do. That's fucked everything up.
Right.
Secrets, audience. The cornerstone of every happy marriage.
I guess my thing is like I'm just thinking about this like a basic mom. Like my husband goes out and is Spider-Man and all that shit, and I'm not gonna reiterate all the problems we have. We already talked about it, but like he's been in the situations where he's just gone for 3 months, tortured, kidnapped, and beaten. And now, if I know my son is trying to do the same thing, and I'm not even sure my husband has a whole handle on the situation, I'm not letting my son put that suit on.
Yeah, but that's why he doesn't know. That's what we don't tell him.
Yeah.
Jake, she's not dating Paul. This is the best MJ's been written in years. All right.
MJ that's just kind of a doormat for whatever Spider-Man's doing is not great to me.
Yeah, that's not really a character. But I get what Jake's saying. She's not. I'm not really enjoying her, but she's there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
We get Mysterio, which is a group of people. I didn't realize all the members. So it's Gwen Stacy, who it used to be her father. He passed away. She took his role. Robbie Robertson, or his son. Okay. Vanessa Fisk. Who I did not realize. What? I didn't know. This is
right, man.
And Quentin Beck, who is the head Mysterio.
Appropriately, yeah.
I didn't realize who some of those people were. So like it caught me off guard. They're like actually like locking. And I was like, oh. So Mysterio's kind of like really fucked up.
Yeah.
Bro, Kingpin is just constantly telling all his plans to either his wife or Wesley. Just know everything that he's going to do. I feel like he's going to replace him as Kingpin at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But we get to the real meat and potatoes of this issue. You get down to the son. Bro, I hate his name.
What's his name? Richard, right?
Yeah, it's not Richard. Yeah, I always want to say Nathaniel for some reason, bro. But it's Richard. He goes to meet with Black Cat, but she sold him out to Kingpin because of course she did.
This was after a text chat between Richard and Black Cat. Like he was already calling Black Cat his girlfriend at that point.
Let's see, one conversation with her, one fight, left, didn't see her again at all. It's the first time they left their hidey hole since they came.
Yeah,
and now literally that's his girlfriend.
Yeah, he literally during the text chat, he's literally saying, "I miss my girlfriend." And she's like, "Wait, is that what I am?" Like, oh wow, okay, move things fast. All right, so
Yeah, he saw a good looking woman talk to him. He said, "Yep, you locked in. That's our relationship."
He
Maybe
thought he
have
was
a
living in a
father-son talk.
sitcom.
Maybe have
oh,
a
what was that? What was that, Kara?
He thought he was living in a sitcom.
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
You know, this is a good time for Peter to have a father-son talk about the fact.
He
Oh
sold
yeah,
Kingpin though,
It's true.
but she didn't fully sell him out. She didn't tell Kingpin that this is Spider-Man's son, but Kingpin just thinks he works with Spider-Man.
hmm
But either way, it's Kingpin. I believe Mole Man's with him, and her and Black Cat, her father. This kid might get an asshole.
Her father is in a wheelchair.
It
He's so
kind of. I mean, from her perspective, it kind of matters little. You still got to baby kill this kid. So
No,
oh,
You
you
know,
won't?
well, this Kingpin is ruthless, but he's not. He's willing to let you escape and stuff. He doesn't like care that much. He really just
Mhm.
wants to kill Spider-Man right now.
Gotcha. And you know what the obvious thing is going to happen after this audience? Richards, it's still going to trust Black Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, she will betray me in
What?
second.
What's the old lyrics, audience? When a man loves a woman, you know?
yeah.
Oh, okay, let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy. He doesn't love her. He just has a crush on her. He just thinks that's love. Right? He doesn't know what love is.
This is why you need Peter to tell him what love really looks like, Jake. You know, you have Peter man up and give the whole talk.
Oh, you know what? Have MJ do it so she can do something.
The kid
Oh,
has
wow.
and it's that he can turn invisible, so he might be able to escape.
Mhm.
But don't forget, this Kingpin is one who has, I want to say, vibranium engravings in his body, like
Yeah,
how Black
vibranium
Panther do.
tattoos.
That
Yeah.
so his defense is not just 350 pounds of muscle like it used to be. This dude's a threat. He beat Green Goblin, Spider-Man single handedly.
Oh yeah.
Then not stopping the other 6 people. So I just if you care about this kid, you should be scared for his life. But he's probably gonna escape Spider-Man after all.
And he's gonna go back to Black Cat.
Either
Oh, boy.
that, or he's gonna have a change of heart mid thing and help him escape. And be like, I wasn't really trying to kill you. I had to do that because my father,
Mhm.
but I had to get out of it.
Remember, he was like, Richards was saying, "Were you lying about us?" And she said,
Us?
"No." She said, "No."
He asked her why. He said, "It's my nature to betray you." They know what it is.
So he's basically thinking, "Oh, so we still have a chance then, right?" Like,
I mean, on the weekends, yeah.
yeah.
It's like this issue's good, but it's like I said, MJ being a doormat isn't really that entertaining. She don't really seem to have thoughts of her own in a lot of situations. Her best issue is still her family for me. That's the only one who fully get out her full thoughts about like everything.
Yeah.
The Quentin Beck and Mysterio stuff is still interesting, but like I don't care about Gwen that much. People don't know. Even before this, I didn't like Gwen Stacy. I didn't care about the dead woman, and then making her Spider-Woman did not help for me. So, and even now, it's like, oh, this is cool, but I only care for your mirror to Harry right now.
Oh wow.
I was a huge Harry Osborn fan before they kept fucking him up in comics.
Oh yeah.
Right now, he's a demon baby or something in 616. I don't know. So that's not even a joke. Mephisto sold him. I mean, Norman sold him to Mephisto to become rich.
Wow.
Everybody.
I just want to say this because I see this sentiment a lot. Even like YouTubers, like shout out to him. Like Cape Joel has this thing where it's like, I know MJ has been in a very shitty spot in 616, but if this is your ideal version of Peter and MJ, this is not that great either. This is not a good substitute. I understand we don't want an overly nagging wife or a partner for Peter. That could get annoying. At the same time, if you're going to tell a story about Peter being married, tell the story. Okay? You can't just have the family just be plot devices that only work when Peter needs them to.
Yeah.
They have to, you have to tell the story of like, this is a grown man being Spider-Man for the first time. And he also has a family that he's responsible for.
This is a grown man who every time he's been Spider-Man, he's either lost, come back bruised up, or disappeared for months.
Right. And that has somehow, even though teenage Peter could barely keep a job and be Spider-Man, there's no ramifications for an adult Spider-Man.
Hey. He worked with Kingpin.
That's true. There's no ramifications for an adult Spider-Man being a family man with 2 kids who don't seem to go to school. Is it like I don't even know.
Homeschooled or summer. This probably happened during the summer, Jake. Yeah.
The whole comic?
No, they go to school. It's literally just time skips, so we don't need to see that.
But like what I'm saying, we never deal with. As far as I remember, we don't really deal with that, or like again, like we do with MJ's family. But like even MJ, when it comes to the Spider-Man thing, that even though this all started with her saying like,
the MJ thing was Christmas, literally Christmas Day, and then we skipped 3 months, so this is March.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess what my point basically is like I would if we're gonna do Spider-Man with the family, I just want that Spider-Man to affect the family more than just like if Peter needs it to affect it for the story to go forward. I think that's really my yeah.
Gotcha.
The way you described it, I thought Mary Jane sounds like the parent who knows her child is doing something or suspects the child is doing something illegal but doesn't say anything about it because the money's good. Is that wrong?
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna ask questions.
No, because she asks questions, she talks to him about it. She ends up agreeing with him. It's like
okay.
Imagine like, oh yeah, so look, I know Robin think it's bad, but I need to because we need money for our daughter. She's like, okay. That was a compelling argument. Go ahead.
Checks out to me.
Like
just try to be home for dinner.
But green, which is weird.
Oh, and also this is also really gonna be a make it or break it for me. Either she knows her son is Venom or whatever, and she's okay with it, which is a whole different issue. Or
I don't think she knows. She just noticed
know
for the first time.
This is the second time Peter has asked the child to lie to the mom, and that is like a dog.
Jake, just wait after this whole conflict ends, and Richard one day brings over Felicia to meet his mom.
I'm just saying, at some point we got to be at grounds for like divorce papers. That's all I'm saying.
Oh wow, dude! I'm like, now, really, Jake? Really?
You take not only did you tell my son to lie to me, you also had him risk his life every day doing shit you're not even good at. That's like almost a dog. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know.
Wow, you just destroyed like every Spider-Man MJ Chippers dream comic, man.
He met Miles and stuff already, okay? They know what a good Spider-Man looks like.
It's true. Now Peter knows how much he sucks.
They're prepared now. They know what a good Spider-Man looks like.
Now they can learn to be better. They can choose to be better.
I imagine Felicia going to jail, and you said his name was Robert or Richard going, I'll wait for you, baby.
Oh God!
Like in Jimmy Neutron, the spy who loved me, or whatever that special was called.
Exactly. No. What the scenario is going to be? What it's going to be, Kara, is that like remember she's still like 16, so at most she'll get juvenile detention. Right?
Okay, never mind.
So you'll have Richard waiting outside the juvenile detention center with a bow tie and a rose, just waiting for her to come out.
There you go. Yep.
Honestly,
that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If he's already in love, he's definitely breaking her out.
Oh wow, yeah.
I think they're gonna do like this spectacular Spider-Man where like, somehow Black Cat convinced Peter to come help her break her father out of prison.
Hmm.
Make her
And
a
I'm gonna
cake
find out
with
that
a
guy killed
file
Uncle
in it.
in that series.
Your father killed him. Your father killed my grand aunt May. How dare you?
What?
I don't know. Just have to be like some kind of
He said the unicorn. I knew it.
Yeah. So, well, if anything, we had a good laugh with this audience. So, all right. Any final thoughts on this before we move on?
Nah, I can't wait for the writer change. I know we're getting a writer change. I think around 20 in a few issues.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see. I want to see what the new writer does because Hickman clearly feels stretched out with everything else he's doing.
Gotcha.
At least in my opinion.
Okay. Cool. But all right, then. I guess with that, we should probably move on to the next book. Jake,
Yes. Oh, right.
go ahead.
I forgot the new order. You can't just go straight down. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we are back to Sonic IDW. This is like.
Oh yeah, Jake's furry confession.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're 2 weeks late to this issue. This is the final battle between Whisper and Mimic. Jesus Christ, these two, Whisper and Tangle, hang out way too much together. I just can't. Like, they're all the same character to me. Anyway, Whisper is a war soldier from when Eggman took over the Earth, and one of her comrades betrayed her and got her whole squad killed, and she's had PTSD ever since. And this issue, she's been fighting her old soldier, but their old comrade that betrayed her, by the way, is named Mimic. He's a shapeshifter. He's like the chameleon, basically.
Okay.
And so Whisper has been like hunting this motherfucker since like issue since the Tangle and Whisper miniseries.
Okay.
And that was like in the issue 8 to 10 area or whatever. It was after the first arc, whatever. And Ian Flynn and Evan Stanley said, you know what, we're finishing this arc today. Whisper and Mimic are gonna fight to the death. And that's what happens this issue. This is their fight to the death. I think it was pretty straightforward. It kind of wastes no time. It's literally just like Whisper is at like her little, like, it's just kind of drinking a sundae or whatever, and Cream shows up, and Whisper's like, "Oh, hey, Cream, you know, how about you sit with me, talk with me?" And they're talking and everything, and you know, I do like the way this is written because I actually didn't see it until Whisper pointed it out. Cream says "mum" instead of "mom," and when he's talking to his mother, and I didn't catch that, but Whisper was like, "Oh, so you're like Mimic? I already know." And she's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, because like Cream doesn't talk like that. You're an idiot. You're slipping." And he's like, "Oh fuck, you got me. All right, GG." And he turns into Mimic, and they have this long conversation about how like
Bro, this dude's still around.
Say it again.
Bro, we're still doing the Mimic arc.
No, we're ending it today, Austin. This is the last issue. We're sick of
Bro, so bad at his own job, bro. I don't know how he survived this long.
But Mimic says the only reason he fucked it was like, listen, I don't really hang around Cream. I don't know what Cream talks like. I just guess. And so they have this talk, and Whisper's like, yo, dog, like, real shit, we've been doing this for way too long. And honestly, I just want to fucking kill you. And Mimic's like, you know, that's crazy, because like, I just want to fucking kill you. And let's just get to it. And like,
make a full side pack.
Yeah. So, but like, Mimic's like, just so you know, by the way, I just want to say I'm proud of you because you're doing this by yourself. And you know, friends are stupid and weak, and you gotta do shit on your own. It was just like, I didn't say shit about being alone. And Silver comes in and helps. So she has the team of Silver the Hedgehog.
Fucking cheater.
Yeah. I know, he's about to say that too. He's like, this is fucking stupid. And so he had Silver the Hedgehog and Tangle, and they had a plan. This was all a trap or whatever.
These are the people you want to go to the guy you want to kill. They're not gonna let you kill this dude.
And well, hold on a second. So, you know, it's a pretty straightforward chase, and everyone plays their part. And I do like, there's like a moment where like, because Tangle, who is like, not officially, but if you ask him, Flynn, he'll say yes. Tangle is like basically Whisper's girlfriend, but they can't legally say it. And she's fought Mimic before, but like Mimic tries to do this whole like, oh, so we meet again, and then Tangle's like, nah, I'm not talking. I'm just gonna beat your ass, and she like beats the dog shit out of Mimic, and Mimic's like, yo, wait, hold on, I can't lose to the fucking sidekick. This is just embarrassing. So he tries. Tries something, and he really gets Tangle killed, but Silver saves her. Because like Tangle falls off a cliff, and like Silver uses powers to like catch her, and like they're suspended in the air. But Whisper pulls a gun out of this man, and he's like, "Oh fuck, you actually gonna kill me?" And Tangle's like, "No, don't kill him, Silver. Let me down. Let me go so I can stop her." And then Silver's like, I can't do that because then you'll fall to your death. And I'm like, Silver, that's not how your powers work. You could just like push her over. You just won't see it time. Just admit it.
Why is he bad at his power now?
Say it again.
Why is he bad at his power now?
I personally, my interpretation, and there's no implication either way. I think it's really that he was okay with her killing. I think he had no problem with the killing. I think it was just Tangle had a problem with it. And I only say this because in an earlier issue, Tangle said, we're not killing anybody. And Whisper was like, yeah, that's cool. And then she walks away, and like and Whisper and Silver had to look at each other. So in my head, I'm not sure that was intentional, but I think Silver just was like okay with it, just didn't want like, whatever.
I thought he was only okay with it because Mimic tricked him at one time.
Yeah, that's like you're like, yeah, how dare you embarrass me? But Mimic says, you know what? You're not going to kill me. You're not going to kill me because I'm going to kill myself. And he stabs himself, but sets off a bomb that's supposed to kill both of them. But like Silver's right there. She's fine.
Yeah.
And so we don't see Mimic's body, and he lands in water, or it's implied he landed in the ocean. So
this man probably turned into a real squid and just swam away.
Right, so I don't know why but it's enough for Whisper to believe he's dead for some reason. I don't know why she thinks that, but sure. But she has his own. She's like, it's over. It's finally over. And I find this actually was kind of bad writing to me, or maybe I'm just not getting it. But she's like so happy that Mimic is dead, and Tangle's just happy for her. But I'm like, didn't you just say you didn't want her to kill Mimic? Like, what? Like, okay. But the point is, Mimic's gone. Another mid villain off the board. Okay, we got to start fresh. Okay, now we're down to just Eggman, and
that's it.
Because Clutch ain't shit. Clutch ain't even really a villain now. So like, I guess we got Eggman, Rough and Tumble, and the Deadly Six are off somewhere. But that's it. So we're back to 3 villains in this book. So we had to build up our villain roster again. But that's okay because next time, Sonic and the Chaotix will be teaming up with Shadow and Rouge, and they'll be fighting robots from Sonic Unleashed. We're done with the nostalgia for the Adventure era. We're moving on to the well, I guess that is Adventure era, isn't it? But we're moving on to the 2008s. Okay. So what I think about this issue, I thought it was pretty straightforward. These books are months apart, and these arcs are even further apart. So I'm sure if I read the whole arc, before I read this issue, yeah, maybe. I do know they did the backstory on Mimic about why he is the way he is, but that didn't even come up in this issue. I mean, it does kind of when he's like, I don't really believe in friends and all that stuff, but like his was like, but the issue they gave him with his backstory was so complex in terms of like how he viewed friendships. It would just kind of suck that just didn't come up in the way that it did in that issue. So I was kind of like, eh. Or like even like his obsession with Whisper doesn't fully get addressed here.
The problem with Mimic that him betraying them doesn't even make sense. Cause he didn't like join Eggman or anything. He just decided to kill them and leave.
Yeah, it was his inability to trust people because he thought they would betray. It's basically he's like,
so just lead the team, pussy. Like,
right. Yeah, I think like the thing with Mimic is like they put a lot of development on him way too late in the game. I think. Well, I think his origin is interesting and it's a good character study on trust. I think like also, by the time you get there, it's like damn, like he's gonna die next issue. I don't really feel anything. It also doesn't help that he's just like he's kind of a two-dimensional villain when we see him in other story arcs. So I don't really get that layer to him.
Mhm.
So I will say it. Like I said, it's a straightforward read. There's no real hiccups with it, other than the Tangle thing I thought was a bit weird. But yeah, it's just so we can get this shit out the way. It's clear that the new direction for IDW is we're cleaning the board. We're doing episodic stories now. It seems like so we can introduce. I don't know about more villains. I don't know if that's our intention, but we can introduce more story ideas and in quicker succession, as opposed to the long story arcs where we're just stuck with the villain for like a year. So I think this is just probably the best way to go. But we'll see next month, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, alrighty then. I guess with that, we should move on to the next book, audience. So, now we're talking about another one of my books, The Superior Avengers.
Dun, dun, dun.
The versus the Avengers. Yeah, that's right, audience. We get a versus match in this. So,
But no matter who fights, we all lose.
Yep. Funny enough, Jake, the fight is literally about who could stop the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah, the issue opens up with Killmonger having sex with Doctor Doom's son. Now, keep in mind, this is the future Killmonger, who's gender bent Killmonger, right, audience? So yeah, I know some people had some misinformation about that when they heard, oh wait, why is Marvel shipping Killmonger with Doctor Doom's son? Because they all assumed that was Eric, you know?
Well, to be fair, Eric never didn't show interest in a woman in the movie.
Yeah,
That
he
man
did.
did get on it.
Yeah, he did. Austin, remember his Bonnie and his
The
Bonnie?
girl he killed, bro, he was using her. That don't mean he liked her.
Yeah, but after he got out of the stretcher, man, he was smooching with her. Remember?
And then he killed her.
Okay, yeah. Well, anyway.
Well,
So,
meanwhile,
all right.
on DeviantArt, there are probably people thinking, "Hey, man, I've been making art of Killmonger with various characters and like, no, not that version of Killmonger." You get what I mean?
Of course, yep. They'll make ships of anything, of anybody.
Yeah.
I still remember people making fan art of Killmonger and T'Challa, but you guys
They wanted to do it sure for some reason.
yeah, you guys drawing those fan arts, you are aware that those two are cousins, right?
They know they just don't get
Yeah, just like how people make fan art of Shuri and Namor. I'm like, you really think that's happening? That's going to happen after
the guy
everything?
murdered her mom.
Goodness.
Yeah, you know. So anyway, the issue starts off. They finish having sex, and Doctor Doom's son is like, "Okay, is there something else I could call you besides Killmonger? Because that feels a little weird to have to say that after pretty much smashing, But yeah, we get flashbacks to her origin basically in the future, audience. Because remember, this version of the Superior Avengers, they're from the future of Doom's perfected empire, this and that. And in that future, Wakanda completely sealed off all its borders now that Doom was in charge, you know? And to just kind of make this a fish in a globe sort of thing, Doctor Doom has Doom Sentinels monitoring the entire border of Wakanda. So no one's getting in and no one's getting out, basically, audience, And that's when you see the lady Killmonger, she's with like a small group of other kids just like her. They're all just trying to breach back into Wakanda. They're like trying to get away from this Doom Empire, this and that, and Wakanda is basically the only place on Earth that has not been conquered by Victor Von Doom. So they make one last Hail Mary attempt to breach the border. They have like a techno gizmo or whatever to make a small hole in the force field. Unfortunately, Lady Killmonger is literally the only person who survives. Her whole group gets eviscerated by the Doom Sentinels. Yikes. But she made it. She finally made it to the haven known as Wakanda. Oh my god, she is free. Only to find out that apparently Wakanda was conquered by Doctor Doom long ago. Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yep. The Doom flag is there and everything. The whole city of Wakanda is in ruins. Yeah, Doom put his flag there, audience, And basically this was just Doom being a dick and just giving I guess it was his way of giving the world some small feeble hope of like, hey, there's this one place that was never conquered by Doctor Doom. And like,
Well, with how bad Wakanda's been managed in the last few years, I'm surprised they didn't just give over to Doom either. These the same people that welcomed the mass murder of their people and kicked their own king out for the hell of it years ago.
I know, right? But hey, at least it's not Wakanda going one-on-one against Doom, against the whole world, So we're not running into that situation when they're getting overpowered. But yeah, basically. Oh, and also attention to detailed note, audience. I didn't really pay much attention to this, but Killmonger's costume, there are cracks all over it, right?
Yeah.
And that's because Lady Killmonger decided to make her costume out of the shattered remains of what's left of Black Panther's costume. So,
Ooh, edgy.
Yep, edgy. One thing I will say that I like in terms of Lady Killmonger's design, she's covered in scars. Yeah, audience, like rarely do you stop and think, yeah, like when it comes to female characters, they don't really have battle scars when you think about
Yeah,
it.
they try to build sex appeal over practicality, if that makes sense.
Yeah, pretty much. You can see these characters getting stabbed or slashed or shot out bullets, but then afterwards they go back to their modeling bodies, basically. So I like that they kept that attention to detail with Lady Killmonger. I know they only started recently doing that with Batwoman in DC too.
Yeah, yeah, the one bullet wound. Congratulations.
No, she has a full back full of scars too.
Oh,
so.
I was thinking of Heroes in Crisis when she saw that bullet wound. Everybody got mad.
Gotcha. But anyway, so this is like her vow that she's going to kill Doctor Doom. So we cut back to the present, and it's the Superior Avengers going out to take out a Graviton who's causing havoc, and that's when you see that the Avengers are handling the situation with Graviton, and yeah, basically it's like a competition between the two teams. That's who could take down the villain. And what better way to do that than to prove that by having them fight against each other? And I didn't think of it this way, but like I kind of like the one-on-one matchups that these two teams had. You had Onslaught going up against Scarlet Witch, and Scarlet Witch is like, you know who that helmet belonged to, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So Scarlet Witch is taking this very personally, going up against Onslaught. We still don't know who Onslaught is, who this version of Onslaught is. All we see is that it's basically a skeleton with Doctor Doom's helmet on. We don't know who that skeleton was from. But then, we also have like other matchups like, Ghost going up against a Vision, or like, Malekith going up against Storm. Now, this is the one matchup I was dying to see the most. It's Sam Wilson, Captain America, going up against Abomination. Keep in mind, Abomination is basically the Captain America of Latveria, audience,
Oh.
I forgot he called him so dumb shit.
And I still remember that confrontation Doctor Doom had with the Avengers where he completely dismissed Sam. Like, You're not even worthy of being called Captain America in my eyes, Wilson. Like, damn.
Dang.
To be fair,
Damn.
I like it for Doom because it comes with how much he respects Steve. That he just doesn't think anyone else can stand there. That he doesn't give Sam even the chance to prove that he can.
I know. This is what makes this matchup more important because I want to see. Okay, Doctor Doom, in your perfect world, I want to see your version of Captain America go up against Sam Wilson. Let's see how that goes. You know. And guys, I gotta say this: Abomination here, he's a freak. Like,
Yeah,
okay, they're fighting against each other, blow to blow. Sam is giving some good solid punches to the face, telling him you had enough. And this is where the creepy line comes up, where Abomination's like saying, "Yes, give me the gift of a mangled visage of my Lord Doom, so that I need no longer hide my abysmal face in shame." This dude wants to get his face beat up as much as Doctor Doom's was.
Like,
he
I
find
want
all
a
person, bro.
famous face.
He need
Yeah,
to switch to go fight Storm. Let her hit him in the face with lightning or something.
I
Yeah.
know. Right? Yeah. So so Kara, basically, Doctor Doom's version of Captain America is his own William Burnside, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let my face be exactly like Doctor Doom's. You know,
Yeah.
he's only wearing the mask just so he could resemble his idol. Now he just
Yeah.
wants to go the full. Yeah, fuck up my face, Sam. Do it now. Like, you're a sick freak. Like,
That reminds me of Whose Line Is It Anyway? They had a scene from a hat, things that'll get you punched in the eye. So Brad Sherwood went up to, I think it was Ryan Stiles, said, "I want you to punch me in the eye." And instead Ryan punched him in the crotch, like just did the opposite of what he wanted.
And you know what? Sam will probably, if Sam ever did that, he would probably be saying, Doctor Doom could take that shot. Good Lord. So stand up, soldier.
I don't know. Think it's kind of weird that the Thor villain Malekith we just kind of here.
Yeah, he's holding off against Storm.
I know, but I mean, like, why does Thor villain care about what's going on with Earth? Like in general, like, why is he on his team?
But no, this is the future Malekith. Remember, this team is from the future. They just
but he's still like half and half light elf, dark elf. Like I don't think this is a different guy.
He's in the present to kill Doom.
What did Doom do to the dark elves? I need to know.
Something fucked up in the future to make him want to.
This man did Doom attack the 9 realms, bro? I need to know. Where's that story?
I guess. Look, when you already conquered the whole world, you might as well be. There's only so much you can do after that, So I guess Doom was like, "Let me expand my empire to the 9 realms."
Yeah, I need to get an issue on that. I need to know.
Gotcha. But anyway, like the fights commence, and to make a long story short, Vision shoots some lasers from his eye at Ghost, thinking that she'll get phased. Only she didn't get phased. She gets a solid hole in her chest as the issue ends. So yeah. Again, I just really wanted to see that fight between Sam Wilson and Abomination so badly, So, will this change Victor Von Doom's opinion on Sam? Probably not. But hey, I guess in Doom's defense, like if he were to have anybody be a representative of his country as his version of Captain America, he would want to get a diehard loyalist to be that representation, So, yeah. All right, that's pretty much it for this book. So we can move on to the next. Oh, what's the next book? Oh yeah, it's gonna be Austin's book. Hold on a sec. Austin.
Yeah, Predator versus Spiderman number 3. Not really a lot to say here because mostly just fighting. But three predators land. They're looking for Skinner, who is a rogue bad blood who's been skinning everybody, wearing people's faces. He's hunting
Yeah.
down Mary Jane for some reason.
Mm.
He read what happened to Mary Jane in that X-Men Gala comic, I guess. What?
Yeah, Peter doesn't know. He's just searching this dude down. He thinks he's a mass murderer.
Mm-hmm.
But Peter ends up running into the three predators, and he spends most of the issue fighting them.
Mm-hmm.
And like we don't have photos, so I can't really go over the fighting. But I just be like, he throws a kick, and he throws a punch. So we're gonna skip some of that.
Yeah.
Craven's punching Skinner, and he's a lot closer than Peter is. But
Uh-huh.
he like they keep teasing that Craven's gonna fight him, but Craven never makes it home in this issue. And it's
Oh,
just like Craven spends like the whole issue trying to find this dude.
they're building it up with Austin, you
No,
know.
I get it, but it's like he's been looking for him since issue 1 now. Peter found this dude by accident 3 times. Like, he found more than he was supposed to.
Oh, dang.
But MJ's still being chased through the sewers and stuff by this guy, by Skinner. Her one of her friends whose name it still escapes me. This one's like the old. But funny enough, Skinner kills a homeless man. It was kind of messed up.
Oh, God.
And then he pulls up on the FBI agent. There's a female black FBI agent with white hair whose
Okay.
name I can't remember right now. I don't have the page in front of me. But
Okay.
she fought Craven for a little bit, and she went after Spider-Man. So she has some skill. This is a no-name lady.
Mm-hmm.
But now he has to fight the Skinner, and Skinner's not playing around. And I'll tell you now, we go to the next issue, and Skinner's wearing blackface. We got to talk about it.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Because Griffith's seen it so far. Every time he killed somebody, took off their skin, he wore their face. So he doesn't do it now. You're not going to tell me this Predator is like racially sensitive. I don't believe it.
A Predator.
If he wins, he has to commit blackface.
Hey, in Predator's defense, they literally see no color. So, you know.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if he wins, he has to commit blackface. I have to see it in the book.
Gotcha.
But that's really much where it ends. Peter just spent the whole episode basically clowning 3 predators at the same time. What puts him above Wolverine? Wolverine's getting pieced up by one. And then Wolverine getting jumped. Peter, because of the spider sense, he just died. He just fucking these dudes up.
It's that agility, man. That agility will get you far in a predator fight, man.
Yeah, I mean, you would think like Peter will be more when you really break it down, right? Peter will have like the assets to go up against Predator. Like he's already had experience fighting someone like Mysterio, so he has to rely on his senses to conquer the invisibility from predators. And yeah, they have plasma
the problem
guns.
is they find him a Craven. So he's like it's just 3 weaker Cravens.
Wow.
The same type of weapon. They're throwing spears and shit at me. like it's just Craven. That's a lizard. You know, like I'm used to this. This ain't nothing new to me.
They should have hunted all the Spider-Man villains first and then gone for Spider-Man.
They should have went after the clones first, man. They should have been cared.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he just put the whole issue clown on him. It's kind of funny and also kind of sad.
Dang.
But like, it was a lot to talk about. That's why I didn't think we were going to do this first. That's why I bring it up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, to talk about because it's a Craven issue, man. So
yeah, but Craven only have like 2 things. They just him. Oh, this predator here.
They'll make it up. They'll make it up to you in the big fight. In the big final boss.
He's like, yeah, this dude here, this is a real predator. This is a hunter. I have to find this dude. And then next page, him just like jumping through like tunnels and stuff looking for him.
You see, this.
So I'm sure Craven's next issue is going to save Mary Jane again, and then we're going to get a Craven Predator fight probably like issue 5.
Dude, I need to see Craven be the one to skin the Skinner, man. You know.
I'm saying, if Peter's already fighting Predator people anyway, you might well let Craven get the main guy.
Mm-hmm.
Something, I don't know. I'm just saying, though.
You know, it'd be interesting if the Predator threat was so dangerous that Craven and Spider-Man had to team up to fight him. to go on one hunt together. That would make kind of
No, I don't want to team up. Fuck that.
cool. You don't want Spider-Man in his hunter rival.
Nah, this Craven's son, bro. This ain't the same. This ain't that guy.
I know it's not the same, but like
Jake, Austin wants Craven to go full Arnold Schwarzenegger on the Predator, man.
I need his son to prove himself because he doesn't get the stories to really do so. And when he does like go after other people, they kind of clown him like the Deadpool stuff. So it's like he doesn't really get like chance to prove that he's as good a hunter as his dad. Besides the issue where he first showed up.
All right.
So I'd love to see him hunt a predator by himself.
That will be something. So, alrighty then. Yeah. Any final thoughts on this before we move on, Austin?
No, they do better, bro. Have more dialogue or something, bro. I can't do all this fighting.
Gotcha. Alrighty then. I guess with that we can move on, audience.
I thought anything the Predators would do to Spider-Man would be kinder than what the writers have been doing with him. So,
yeah.
Spider-Man versus Wolverine got stabbed in the gut. So,
hey, Predators can't do as much damage to Peter as Paul has.
Yeah.
So,
Well, with that, I'll be taking off. So, thank you all for having me. It's been fun.
No problem.
It's no problem
for having you, Kara. So, we'll see you next time. Yep. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Jake.
So last week we did our Bionicle recap. If you want to know what the story is up till now, go watch that. It was pretty fun actually going back over the whole story in one sitting. But now we're back on Blade Newey. The Toa Ignika are facing off against the Baraka again. More specifically, we're facing off against Hakan and Thok, two of the Barakas, because the Barakas might be one of the deadliest villain teams in Bionicle, but they hate working together, and they will betray each other the first chance they get. So sure enough, when Hakan and Thok accidentally swipe the powers of the Bionicle Titan Brutaka, they're like, wait a minute. We don't need any of you motherfuckers. Let's get out of here. So they kind of solo both the Baraka and the Toa, and they get away. And Axon, the other Bionicle Titan, he's like, listen, like, if y'all even want a shot at the Mask of Blade, y'all got to deal with those two first. And the Toa Ignika were like, all right, dog, tell us what you got to do. And Zocton was like, Zocton, who's like the leader of the Baraka, he's like, well, listen, I know you just whooped our ass and everything, but like, you need to let us go and help you because we have the technology to disable Hakan and Thok's thing, but we're not giving it to you until you let us go. And then they're like, well, obviously we're not doing that. You're like our arch nemesis right now. And then like, that's fine and all, but like, you're fucked without us. And it's true. We will betray you whenever we see fit. It could be on the way there for all you know. But if you want a chance at that Mask of Life, for the next 30 minutes, you're going to have to trust us. And they're like, God damn. All right, well, here we go. I do also, again, I will say this. I said this before, I'll say this again. The Toa Ignika might not be my favorite Toa team, which is unfortunate because as a kid, I really love their designs. I love their commercials. They're my favorite Bionicle toys to look at. But in terms of the book, they're not really my favorite team for a couple reasons. For all the Toa Nuva and Nuva's faults, their clashing personalities made them interesting to read as individuals. Same with the Toa Metru. The Toa Metru were the Toa Metru especially. They were all their own characters. And when they came together as a team, you got to see different cultures clash. Like, it wasn't just the characters; they come from different cultures, like communities. So you got to see those ideals clash, and you got to see their personalities in general clash. And there was a lot of nuances between the different team dynamics. When it comes to the Toa Ignika, there's some squabbling, but they're just very agreeable, and that's fine. but also it's less interesting. Like, despite the fact that these are side characters I've met before the events of this book, that have been elevated to main character status, I don't know much about Jala now. I know Jala is the captain of the guard. I know that he's a brave Matoran who would do anything for his universe. I don't know much about him as a Toa. Same with Nuparu, who I know even less of. He was even more of a background character in the first book. Same with Nuparu, Huki, and Matsuro, who's supposed to be the main character of this saga. So far hasn't really lived up to it for me, but I don't know. There's no real time where I'm reading this and I'm like, oh, like I have the whole Toa Ignika. I'm like 33 chapters in. I couldn't tell you who my favorite Toa Ignika is. Yeah, as opposed to the Toa Nuva, where I was like, oh, I really like Tahu. And I really like God, I'm blanking on names. But I really like Tahu. I really like the others, Gali and the others. Or like with the Toa Metru, where I'm like, yeah, Anua was like really cool, but Bakam was my favorite. But there was multiples I could like, and I could like them all for different reasons. I can't do that with the Toa Ignika, and I think that really holds them back from being an interesting team. That said, the benefit of their teamwork is it really is a payoff if you read the earlier books. Because I've also said this before. One thing you'll notice about this team is that they take the best parts of the Toa Metru and the Toa Nuva, and they're just like the best parts of both teams. Their teamwork is perfect, and their leadership is confident. There is no arguing. If Jala says, we're moving this way, the team's moving this way. At the same time, if a team member says, Jala, I think you should look at the problem from another angle, then Jala's going to be like, you know what? I see what you're saying. Let me think about this real quick. Like, they're just a really good team. And as a result, you get rewarded with their fights being more strategic. We're like, compare again, the Toa Metru, they're all strategic fighters with their own powers, but one of their biggest problems was they'd be in groups of two coming up with their own different plans. Like for instance, in a fight, Bakama might be doing his own thing. And like Anua and Matau might be having their own plan. Like they weren't really cohesive. So this is nice to see for the Toa Ignika. And it does pay off in dividends because when they do fight Thok, who has the powers of essentially a Bionicle demigod, they're doing actually really well. You know what I mean? They're capable of holding him down without much effort. I mean, sure, two of the Toa go down, but the rest are pretty much fine. And they're using their powers accordingly. I still don't find their mass powers that interesting compared to the Toa Metru. Again, the Toa Metru was just like, oh my God, that was just like peak writing. That best amount of writing. But the Toa Ignika, their powers are like cool, but they're using them in like cool tag team ways. Like they know Thok has ice powers, so they combine lightning and fire powers against him because, as I point out, like, just so you know, ice is cool and all, but it is just cold water. And and when you combine water with electricity, well, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So you know, I do like that. And I do like how Gali also uses. I'm sorry, Holly. Their names are too similar. There's just so you know, there's a Toa named Gali and one name's Holly. The one on this team's name is Holly. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Holly uses her water powers to create a swamp that, you know, entrenches them in. And I do like how there is a moment because Hakan, Thok is fighting the Toa. Hakan's fighting the rest of the Paraka. The Paraka are like, hey, yeah, we're gonna kick your ass and you're gonna pay for betraying us. And Hakan's like, yeah, I'm kind of like a demigod now, so like, fuck you. Also, funny thing too, I like about this too. Not only did Hakan and Thok betray the Parakas, shortly after they try to betray each other because they are not to be trusted. But Hakan fights the Parakas and he does wind up struggling a bit, and Thok is struggling. So Hakan's like, you know what? Listen, we might hate each other, and I'm definitely gonna backstab you before we even get to the Mask of Life. But we gotta work together right now in the moment. What do you say? And Thok's like, you know what? I got you. And just as they're about to unleash their ultimate plan, that was actually what the Toei planned for, and they wind up shooting the cure that takes their powers away. I thought that was pretty smart. That was pretty smart. So, but the Paraka wind up swooping in, and they're like, "Oh, Hakan, you missed us because you were talking a lot of good shit earlier when you thought you could get one over on us. So, we're about to beat your ass." So the Paraka have a head start. They kidnap Hakan and Thok, and they have a head start in the Mask of Life. And the Toei are chasing after them shortly. We also get in a fight with Axon and Brutaka. Brutaka gets his powers back. Now, just a reminder, Brutaka and Axon are from the Order of Matanui. This is basically the Illuminati, or like the secret church of Jesus Christ, I guess. They carry out orders given by the Great Spirit himself. So just to quite clarify that, the Toa are guardians of the Matoran, and they do missions to keep the universe alive. But they only know what's going on in their island and what they're told to do. The Order of Matanui is basically, if the Toa are disciples, think of the Order of Matanui as like angels from heaven, basically.
Yeah.
So Brutaka is what we would call a fallen angel. He's like, listen, Matanui went to sleep a long time ago, and y'all keep saying he's coming back, but I don't really believe you. And all I know is, in the time we have left until the universe is destroyed, I want the Mask of Life for myself. And Axon is like his brother in arms. Like, they have this Optimus Megatron thing. And Brutaka and Axon's like, listen, we were brothers once. And Brutaka's like, yes, once. And then they do their little fighting thing. But Brutaka now has his powers back, and Axon's like, listen, I don't really want to fight you. Like, you're my brother, man. And like, we've been fighting for like thousands of years. And I just don't want to do it anymore. And Brutaka's like, oh, that's too bad, man, because I'm never gonna change my ways. You're never gonna change yours. So let the fight commence. And they're like, all right, let's throw down. And they do. But next time we come back, the Paraka again have a head start in the Mask of Life, but the Toei are in fast pursuit. But we also have a new threat on the horizon, or a threat that we've introduced before. This is, I think they've introduced his name before. I can't remember, but I know it's Vizon, who is the protector of the Mask of Life. Is also a crazy motherfucker who has some mysterious ties to the Paraka, and we're trying to figure out what that is. So, but yeah, so far, like I said, I'm enjoying the book. It's just not as good as the Metro Nui saga so far. I doubt it will get better than this late in the game, because pretty much all the characters have kind of gotten to where they need to be. That said, I am still excited for the next arc, because I know that's one of the more serious, the more darker stories in the Bionicle universe. And it also has one of my favorite villain trailers my favorite villain trailer of all Bionicle stories. So we're on our way to the next book. But as far as this book is concerned, I think it has story, but it's missing character. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. So so far I still recommend the book. If you want to read this along with me, go to Crossfire Geek. Look at the Biological Chronicle section, and Bionicle. Check it out.
Gotcha. But alrighty then. I guess with that, we should move on to the next book, audience. Let's move on. I think it's my turn. All right. We're going to talk about Wolverines and Deadpool's #1. Hey, remember how Cody Ziegler's Deadpool run ended? Yeah, well, that was just their excuse for another #1. But at least it's with a purpose, because well, I shouldn't really say it's a purpose. There was a moment in Cody Ziegler's Deadpool run where it appears that Ellie was seeing her mother, right? Her mother had died long ago or already, but we never got a resolution to that plot. But it seems like this book is going to be picking up on that. So yeah, it's as you would expect an issue like this to be. It's like a father-daughter outing between Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool bringing his daughter Ellie and Wolverine bringing his daughter Laura. Uh, the one thing I didn't like about this book, though, was we go back to Ellie and her family, the Prestons. Okay, if you know who they are, they're from the Jerry Dugan run. Yeah, whole arc, this and that, right? And throughout Chloe Ziegler's Deadpool run, we never really did get confirmation as to whether or not her foster family is aware that she's basically being Deadpool Junior now, especially especially her stepmother Preston, right? She's a former Shield agent who's in an LMB body right now, but yeah, she's perfectly okay with Ellie being being mentored by Deadpool, which is a huge no. That does not
Oh,
make
the slander for like everything Deadpool, everything people want for Ellie has been spit in the face of, and they just want you
yeah.
to be cool with it, bro. It's very weird.
That was that was just horrible. Like, audience, let me give you an example, right? Literally, like, out of pity, like, Preston allowed Deadpool to uh come over for family dinner, right? Because he was missing his daughter Ellie, this and that, and he knows he presents a danger to Ellie just by being in her life. But, like, hey, Preston's like, okay, I'll let you in just for one dinner, but then after food's over, you go. Yeah, audience. It turns out before then, one of Deadpool's villains had infected him with radioactive radiation, and so literally just one evening of dinner was enough to put her whole family's life in jeopardy. There are many other moments like that. Like, what I'm trying to say is, Preston Alf, anybody would never be down with Ellie wanting to be Deadpool's a trainee. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? I mean, I can imagine, like, she would be the one that's pulling Ellie by the ear, like, no, we're burning that costume of yours. Like, damn, she has every reason why she would be against this sort of thing, especially with how much danger Deadpool has put her family through. So I, I, I didn't like that at all. But anyway, so it's just, as far as the issue goes, Wolverine needs to hire Deadpool for, like, this, to aid him in this investigation in Simcaria. Uh, don't know if that's a real place, but it feels like a European country, right? There's been kids being taken by
That's
shadowy fig.
the Homer Silver Sable.
Oh, okay, Silver Sable. Okay, yeah, there you go. But anyway, these kids are being taken. The kids of this village are being taken by the shadowy figure. So Wolverine is there to, deal with it. He brings in Deadpool, and yeah, Deadpool just sees this as, like, hey, it's a father-daughter outing. Ellie and Laura meet each other, and they don't seem to get along at all. Yeah, they're just, Deadpool's basically just acting like the goofy father in this. I'm not going to get too in depth as all the jokes we get, but I will mention this, right? So during their investigation, we do see a couple of villains pop up to deal with them. For the girls, they send in the villain Lady Bullseye. Yeah, if you know her, you know her. But for but for Wade and Logan, this is interesting, right? Because they decide to send in Agent X. Who's Agent X, audience? Yeah, that's a deep dive in Deadpool lore because in Deadpool's history, right, when Rob Liefeld left Marvel, they kind of wanted to disconnect Deadpool from Rob Liefeld. So they kind of did a full revamp of Deadpool's character to Agent X, and that's who we have here. He dropped the katanas and just used guns, right? Yeah, that character didn't stick, and they just ended up stating that this was just another guy who thought he was Deadpool, you know? So, yeah, that's why we don't really see much of Agent X. He just was a character that never really clicked with the fans. But, yeah, it was definitely interesting seeing Cody Ziegler bring him up. I mean, there was this one cool scene, right, where Wolverine stabs him from behind, and Agent X is like, that all you got? As he points the gun at his own throat and shoots it because the bullet was going to shoot right past his throat onto Wolverine's eye. You're like, God damn, you know? So yeah, that was cool. But anyway, fight commences, and to make a long story short, the bad guys escape, and you find out that the real villain of this story is actually the Shadow King. And I gotta say, good for you, because I think we've all seen plenty of stories with the Shadow King going up against Storm repeatedly. You know, you kind of need to branch off somewhere every now and then. It's like that was like one of my major problems with someone like Silver Samurai. Like every time I see you, dude, it's always about Wolverine. I think you're a cool enough character to be a villain for somebody else, you know? So, all right. Yeah. That's pretty much it for Wolverines and Deadpools. So, all right. We can move on to the last book of the night. Austin.
We're not doing the other one? Okay. Oh, no, we already did.
Wait, which one?
No, no, we didn't do that one. I did IDW Sonic, so this is the second last one.
Okay. You still it might be 12 o'clock in 4 minutes.
Huh?
It's about to be 12. Might as well get this one out of the way, Austin. Go ahead.
Thing number 2. The reason I did this because this is the first time ever the Thing has met Bullseye.
Really?
Yeah, 60 years of comics. Never actually interacted with Bullseye before this issue.
I mean, when you really think about it, like it's a complete mismatch at the end of the day. I mean, it's like trying to have Bullseye go up against the Hulk. You know, what are you going to do?
Just like that, besides like one instance, but it's pretty good. So the Thing is helping a man look for his daughter who got kidnapped. Obviously, he's around, going to like clubs, going to bars. This is the intention of a lowlife who calls someone who's very clearly Kingpin and tells Kingpin, "Hey, yo, you're getting a little bit too close. We gotta do something about this." So Kingpin puts out a 10 million bounty on the Thing.
Wow.
And the best part is, I wish I had this panel, but the guy who does it is basically like a radio station, and he's doing the Stan Lee voice. So he's like, "Oh, your fans," and he does the whole gimmick of like the blue-eyed idol of millions, like everything he talks like the Stan Lee way of saying it.
Oh,
I think puts the bounty. I wish I kept that panel and brought that up, but it was so good.
Gotcha.
But probably go to the first picture. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Oh,
there you go. Honestly, the person that immediately pulls up is Bullseye, and because Bullseye never fought the Thing, all he knows is the guy who made a wrong. So he's like, "Oh, I can try stuff." You know what I mean? So they introduce themselves. Bullseye throws some kunai at him and doesn't do anything. He throws, he starts throwing everything he can, doesn't do anything. But his kick works, and he implies that he's magically enhanced by something, but we never learn what.
Okay.
He actually like kicks the Thing onto his back at one point.
Kind of stretching the whole adamantium spine thing, but okay.
Well, even that wouldn't be enough to send the Thing flying. Like, you know?
Yeah.
But The guy, the thing basically starts wailing on him and starts asking about the kid, and that was like the next picture we get this.
Okay.
And Bullseye had to let him know, hey, well, I'm a bad guy. Like, you know, he kidnapping and murdering kids. That's kind of weird. That's weird. Kill. I'm going to kill Daredevil. I can get all day. But a child, that's the line I don't cross.
Oh yeah.
But
Austin? Oh, okay.
funny enough, the thing believes him and sends him flying down the street with a punch.
Oh wow.
But the more he looks into it, now he's starting to realize that when he found out about the bounty, he realized there's some crime lords involved. So he thinks about the first one he could go to. Funny enough, isn't Kingpin, it's Hammerhead.
Okay.
Hammerhead worked for Kingpin, to be fair, but Hammerhead usually, he's easier to find. You know, he always seems to know what's going on in the city, one way or another.
Dude, when you're showing me that like this is going to be involving Bullseye thing and Hammerhead, all I can think about is Bullseye going to throw Hammerhead at Ben Grimm. Like, I think that would be dope, but still, you know.
Bullseye escaped, but I'm sure he's going to come back. We'll see, man, because so far it doesn't feel like anybody in this book's going to have a chance to really beat the thing.
Yeah.
So Bullseye coming back with something to fight him again, I think it's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you tell me we're going to get a slobber knocker of Kingpin versus the thing just throwing hands, I doubt it.
What? Oh my god.
350 pounds of muscle versus 600 pounds of muscle?
Boulders, dude. Like, damn. Kind of sounds like Kingpin. It kind of sounds like Kingpin wants to prove his stuff is hard as a thing, you know?
Yeah, but when I found out officially, this is the first meeting, the first conversation between Bullseye and Thing. I was like, even if it's the boring issue, we got to talk about it.
Okay, yeah. It's like one of those things you never stop and think about, audience, you know?
And it's only because Bullseye is literally just a Daredevil villain, bro. You don't really go up on a lot of that stuff if you're not street level.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, we all got... You know, it's funny. It's funny that this happened, especially since the last comic we were talking about was about like, you know, Shadow King spreading his legs, you know, to somebody that he doesn't normally fight. So, you know, I'm glad they're doing that with other villains.
How many other people just in New York who never met each other?
Ooh.
So, like, we talk about everyone's in New York, but like this proves that not everyone knows each other. I think that's hilarious.
Yep.
They should do a meet and greet. They should do a meet and greet.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it wasn't that long ago where we had Norman Osborn meet Carnage for the first time. So when they fused together.
They could do another. Look, to be fair, the last time they did this, it was like Old Man Logan with the end of the war.
Yeah.
They should do another thing where villains just go fight other people. So I would love to see like Iron Man, low level Iron Man go fight like the Fantastic Four or something, and like Rick go Bad Thinker go fight Spiderman, stuff like that. Just see how it goes.
They already have that. It's called Acts of Vengeance, and they already did that a while ago. So
anyway, thanks for ruining my thing. We're done now.
Yeah. But alrighty, yeah. That's it, audience.
We're not doing my book. I have one more.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you had one more. Okay, go ahead. This is what happens when you add books at the last minute, Jake. All right.
I was working overtime.
On time. What's that lesson from from Into the Spider-Verse? On time is 15 minutes early. You know.
There you go. Anyway, we're doing last minute Sonic X DC issue 4. This last issue we had the Sonic fight all the DC villains, and so in the DC crossover, it's only right that we'll have the Justice League fight mostly DC villains and one Sonic villain. So
yeah.
So this issue was
Pictures.
I think, well, it has a couple things. Well, something I already knew was going to be a problem. Sonic IDW has not done a good job establishing they have a proper rogues gallery. So in the DC crossover, there was a villain for each Justice League analog the Sonic Heroes were representing. And in this one, the Justice League go to Sonic's world just to fight Darkseid villains. Like, not even like analogs for the Sonic cast. Like, it's like Wonder Woman shows up and she fights the Furies. And she fights them with Blaze. And Blaze the cat. And Blaze is like, oh wow, you're pretty cool. Who are you? She's like, I'm Wonder Woman. I'm princess from another world. She's like, oh, that's crazy. I'm a princess from another world. And she's like, oh, that's rad. Can I have that Chaos Emerald? And I feel like Blaze should have just said no. But she said, you know what, Wonder Woman? Because I know you're from your own comic book where you're a superhero, I'm going to trust you with this Chaos Emerald. That isn't really even mine to give, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. And so she does. Mm-hmm. And we have Batman versus Metal Sonic on the cover. And I like to say this is more of a fight, but it's really just like Batman hits Metal Sonic with a motorcycle and he wins. That's it. That's all it is. All right, that's boom. Next up, we have Flash versus Bond something. He's this dude with a very thick German accent. I don't know his name. Okay. But he's one of Darkseid's elite or whatever, and he's using the conch shell to control the Deadly Six. And I was like, why not just have the Flash fight the Deadly Six? But we're not doing that. And so the Flash, so the guy's like, yes, as long as I have this conch shell, I can control the Deadly Six, which is true to the games. And so Flash is like, oh, thank you for telling me that. He steals the conch shell, and then the Deadly Six beat the dog shit out of this dude. And then Zavik goes, oh, I want that Chaos Emerald that you have in your hand, Flash. Flash is like, well, I got a question for you, Zavik. You got super speed? He's like, no, but like I got super strength though. He's like, that's cool. And so he just runs away. And Zavik's like, oh, all right, well, shit. And so then we have the best one. Honestly, I thought it was funny. It was Eggman versus Superman. I thought it was
okay.
It was actually pretty stupid, but it was funny. And like everyone's like, well, Darkseid's gone and Sonic's not here, so I just win. So I'm just gonna control the world with my battleships. And he's like, what the fuck's going on over there? Is that a bird? No, it's a fucking plane. No, it's fucking Superman. And Superman just like destroying all his battleships and shit. And he like breaks into the thing. And Superman's like, yo, like, dog, like we just saved the world together. How about you like don't, backstab me? And Eggman's like, yeah, that sounds crazy and all this, but and he tries to stab him because for people who know Sonic lore, he's using the final boss from Sonic Heroes. He's using that mech, the Egg Emperor. So he tries to stab him with the lance, and Superman just like holds out his hand and breaks the shit. And Eggman's like, I quit. My bad. I'm sorry. And I don't like how Ian Flynn writes Superman. I think he writes him in a way that, like, maybe I just don't know what he was sourcing. But his Superman is like, he says, I'm going to read to you how Ian Flynn writes Superman. There's like an actual quote. Okay. He's telling Eggman, your world is in peril. While I'll never understand the ambitions of people like you, surely self-preservation should be part of your calculus. I'm like, I don't know Superman quite talks like that, but whatever. It was just a really weird line. And anyway, we had Jon Stewart versus not a Sonic villain, another Darkseid villain. And he uses the power of the Wisp to win the day. He uses and then he saves the Wisp, and he saves the day with the power of the Wisp that infuses into the Green Lantern ring. And he says it because it's from Sonic Colors. He's a colorful hero. I see what he implies. So anyway, Cyborg's like, all right, good job, League. We got all the Chaos Emeralds, and now I'm gonna send them to our world so the Sonic heroes can find them and use them to get here. And the Sonic heroes do, and that is the issue. And I think I would have. The more this goes on, I'm like, I think I would have done this plot differently. I think I would have had Brainiac be the villain, so him and Eggman could do some shit together. I also would have had the Sonic cast have 2 issues dealing with something on the DC world, and just have one thread of the DC world that they're all dealing with.
What? Brainiac had the easiest way to do the crossover anyway, because he collect worlds.
Wait, say that one more time? I'm sorry.
With Brainiac, you had the easiest way to do the crossover. Because remember, he collects worlds.
Oh, yeah. So it worked, yeah. And then, Eggman's like a technological enthusiast. I'm sure he could have done something with that. He could have betrayed Brainiac or something. Maybe made a super mech or whatever. And I would have, but yeah, I would just have the Sonic Heroes have a 2-parter on the DC world, and the Justice League have a 2-parter on the Sonics world. I don't think it had to be like this. Just feels kind of like we're just rushing through bits. I mean, again, I did complain about this when Sonic fought Reverse Flash. I said like, oh, this is cool. I just think it's too easy for Sonic. I don't think you can beat Reverse Flash this easily. Metal Sonic's even worse. Metal Sonic is allegedly a Sonic level villain. Like he's supposed to be like comparable to Sonic. And I'm sorry, the Bat Cycle isn't taking out Sonic in one hit. So I don't know why I should take out Metal Sonic in one hit. I'd rather they lie and just say you could use EMPs or something. I think it just doesn't give anything a chance to breathe. And it doesn't really make anything feel believable. There's fun interactions here and there, but it's just kind of like whatever. There is a fun bit though where the Flash is like, yo, guys, you'll never believe this. There's fucking loop-de-loops on this fucking planet. Listen, I have a Chaos Emerald, so I'm just going to be kind of exploring for a bit. Y'all call me when you need me. I'm going to be having fun here.
Wow.
And then he goes to Batman later. He's like, Batman, I'm not even joking, dog. There is like loop-de-loops. And Batman's like, you mean like circles and shit in the ground? Like, you mean like you just go like in a circle in the ground? He's like, yeah. He's like, I have to investigate this world further. This is fucking insane. So it's like you can't believe it. So I didn't like that interaction. But when it comes to
problem with the being disappeared,
he didn't care. Okay? But and
also,
so
you think it's weird that they didn't try to promote any original IDW characters?
I did think that was weird. I thought like because when I saw Blaze, I was like, why not just have like Whisper and Tangle? But yeah, like I said, like, it's this thing. It's this thing where I'm not even sure how closely they want Sonic to be associated with IDW. To be honest with you, even in their own book, they can't even promote them. It has me really questioning if IDW is really canon or is it just like the Netflix, where it's like the Sonic games happened and this is just a side story, but the games don't have to really acknowledge it. I think. Yeah. Do I recommend this book for the novelty? Maybe, but you don't have to go out of your way to read it. It is what it is. So, you know, if you want a good crossover written by Ian Flynn, read Sonic and Mega Man. So.
There you go. All right, then. I guess with that, we've reached the end of the book, audience. Thank you for joining us. Thanks again, Kara, for being with us on the live stream. And yeah, guys, have any final thoughts before we end tonight?
We'll see you guys when Superman.
Yeah, see how that goes. All right, later.